who I am. I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real.
All right, the mic is hot. How's it going, everyone? I am Renegade Operative, and I am here to talk about the Silent Hill 2 teaser trailer analysis. I'm trying to get all my stuff right. I have seen this before, so if you haven't already seen it, if you never played Silent Hill 2 a day in your life, then I am a massive Silent Hill 2 nerd. I just reviewed it not too long ago, and I gave the game a 10 out of 10. While not 100% perfect, it is a nigh impeccable masterpiece. It really is, for what it does, for what it accomplishes. I would say that game deserves 10 out of 10. Like, people don't understand 10 out of 10 doesn't mean sheer perfection. It's just a game that's so good, the flaws are like so minimized in the process, like maybe 1 or 3 flaws, nothing really too big, but the rest of the game is super incredible. Then you have Bloober Team coming in, a Polish studio, climbing up the ladder, being noted for being a Silent Hill sort of studio, Silent Hill-esque, so to speak, where they really try to model their games after Silent Hill. People have that impression of them so far. They made Blair Witch, Layers of Fear, The Medium. I don't have too much familiarity with this studio outside of knowing that people do not like their issues on mental illness, and grief and pain, suffering, punishment is part of Silent Hill and a subtle nature. So how will a studio tackle this? Well, apparently Konami is reining them in the process, putting the leash on Bloober Team and trying to make this remake good without any of their commentary bleeding into it. Whether that remains to be true or false remains to be seen. The game isn't out yet, but one thing I want to say is that sometimes people need to be reined in. Especially, I know people are going to get mad when I say this. People are definitely going to get mad, but Hideo Kojima, sometimes he needs to be reined in as well, because if you don't rein him in, then he creates Death Stranding, and you know how I feel about Death Stranding on this channel. I really did not like the idea of playing as UPS Man in that game. But I digress. We're going to move on, and we're going to break down the Silent Hill 2 teaser trailer, and we're going to see what we think about it and see how it is. So let's do this. ESRB rating. PlayStation logo, promoting this because this is going to be like a 12-month console exclusive. Now, the first thing we see is this roach right here. And I was thinking to myself automatically, PT, he wakes up at the cutscene, is 2 conjoined twin roaches on the floor. So maybe this was a homage to that, saying, hey, you know, wink wink, we actually like Kojima now. I don't know, maybe that's like too much of a stretch. You know, it's like way too much. Like, I'm Mr. Fantastic out here, but it just seems like a clear reference to PT to me, and that's it. And it was nice, it was cute, in my opinion, if that was the real goal for the cockroach on the floor. Because once again, that happens in the intro of PT. So graphically, it's looking really nice, pristine. It just looks good. I know Bloober Team games apparently look good because people like the way they look. I don't have much experience with them, but look at these detailed hands right here, these fresh palms. And then we have the introduction of James Sunderland, who has a stubble now, which he didn't have that in the original, but you know, I'm all for new things. Now, this is the big point of contention. I heard people say they don't like the way James looks, they don't like his face. I feel like that's all subjective, but I am a guy who doesn't play, what is the word I'm looking for? I don't play geographical fucking faces on video games, you know what I mean? I play video games for the characterization, the symbolism, especially with Silent Hill. I play for the gameplay. I don't play for polygons. You know what I mean? I don't play for how the pixels look, and that's what people do. I saw people today saying, "Oh, Lara Croft, James Sunderland, they got nerfed for a modern audience." I don't care about any of that. Like Tomb Raider 2013 was fucking fire, and ain't nobody gonna tell me otherwise. I care about how they present all of these characteristics to me, and that's what I want to see. I want to see that enhanced, the real tension, drama, sometimes comedy of a scene. What can they do with these characters and make them bigger, bolder, and unique? And honestly, I don't hate the look of James that much, really. I really don't. There were people trying to misinterpret the mirror scene, saying that maybe there could have been a little bit more shadow. I think that's a little bit more reasonable to say that. You know, it could have been a little bit more darker, but ultimately it doesn't really bother me. It's just another guy's face and their rendition of upresing and retexturing the graphics and putting in new models. And honestly, it looks like the same scene beat for beat, just
Could she really be here,
new actor,
waiting for me?
new face, and he's doing stuff. Now, people pointed this out, and they're putting in attention to detail, and I like this. James's ring finger right there, the ring finger right here, it has a tan line. That is cool attention to detail. It reminds me that the pain of his wife and remembering her and what he did. And once again, there will be spoilers here. 3, 2, 1, go. Mr. James Sunderland decided to put his wife out of her misery by suffocating her with a pillow because she developed a terminal illness that couldn't be fixed, and thus the town of Silent Hill is calling to him to punish him for all of his sins, particularly that situation. I would figure he would put the ring away because that just reminds him of Mary a little bit too much, and the letter jogged that memory for James Sunderland, and I find that to be really good. Like I like that Ito is definitely involved in this decision making process, and they're really pushing this because they want to get it right. And I hope Bloober is the team that wants to get it right as opposed to getting it wrong. And this is the first step, and I like this little detail. I know it's subtle, but hey, Silent Hill is all about subtlety. As for the voice, I don't mind it. He sounds way better than Troy Baker.
Mary died.
The context now is he doesn't put his whole hand over the front side of his face, it's on the side, which, you know, is a subtle change, but again, not that much of a big deal.
Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago.
So he's talking about Mary, who died from the disease. He got a letter from Silent Hill from Mary, and thus he was called here. We get a glimpse of Toluca Lake and Nathan Avenue, all the adjacent stuff. Probably gonna be running to Neely's bar yet again. It's literally the same map from Silent Hill 2, but it looks like it's a tiny bit more preoccupied. I don't know, like some people have said it looks just a tiny bit bigger in the residential space, and I believe that this is probably going to be the case with this new Unreal 5 engine. But it's mostly going to be the same map. So Toluca, Silent Hill Historical Society, which is probably right here, just faded out. Actually right up here, that will be the Historical Society. We're gonna visit the prison once again in the other world. It's so many locations we're going back to. Saul Street, we're gonna be revisiting that and going to the trailers and everything. Just so much stuff with Silent Hill 2, and it's gonna look better and hopefully feel better in the process. So I'm talking about Storm now. So James passes what looks like a bar, or a bar, or yeah, a bar or restaurant that's clearly uninhabited. I wonder, can you go in there? Like eventually put me in there, team. Put me in there, coach. So this is the streets of Silent Hill.
In my restless.
And And I mean, people are gonna get confused with all the particle effects here, but it's just like leaves. You know, some folks have said, oh, it's just ash coming down, but that's from the movie. That's the coal mine stuff. Ito said that any form of weather for Silent Hill is going to be fog or maybe snow. And it was snow in the first one, but in this one it looks all dreary and rain-like, which is going to symbolize the other world in this game, because once again it gets all wet and moist within the environment. One thing that you will notice is that James does not have the patches on his coat anymore, so they changed that. Very minuscule. I really wouldn't have noticed unless someone has said anything, but they have clearly, and there's no more patches on James's coat. I'm fine because he looks, you know, more or less bodily wise similar to the original, so I don't mind that at all. Then we get the dialogue of Mary talking, and even her voice sounds fine compared to the HD collection. Like, they really, every voice I heard thus far sounds better than it did in HD collection, where they didn't even bother. They didn't even try.
Killing a person ain't no big deal.
Just put the gun to their head.
Just put the gun to their head. Pow.
What the fuck, y'all? God damn! God damn! God damn!
What?
Fuck! Fuck!
Dreams.
So we see one of the fleshy monsters. I don't know all of the creature names. I know what they are. I know when you approach them, they're gonna spit acid at you because that is their main perk. They're wrapped in this sort of fleshy straitjacket, and at this point in time, I would say this is where James finds the blood on the street, because when you're introduced to this creature, it's walking, it's shambling, and then there's like blood streaks all over the environment, so you're wondering like what's going on, and then it leads you to the first encounter with this thing where you get the 2x4 for the first time. But one of the main methods of attack it has is it will spit acid, and sometimes when you knock it down it crawls all over the ground in a fast way like a jaguar.
I see that town.
So this is a nice transition here.
Silent Hill.
Oh, I just love how this looks super abandoned. You got Ito and Akira Yamanoka, and he's working on the music. That means the music is gonna sound awesome. Now, once again, like I said, I don't have much issue with, you know, this being outsourced, but we will see if this turns out good or not. You know, I gave Silent Hill 2 a 10 out of 10. You know, I'm gonna tell you guys what I liked and disliked, and honestly tell you from there. And if I don't dislike much, it is what it is. Now, this scene in particular, this is the creature with the I called it in the playthrough, it has like the legs and the other set of legs on top of it. Like the top half and the bottom half are more or less the same, but we basically run into our first criticism here, and it is the lighting. I think the scene is way too light this time around. Now obviously there's a light source with the lamp, but I liked when this whole scenario was, everything was dark, you didn't know what was going on, and Pyramid Head was clearly tapping some mannequin ass in the background. Not sure if that's going to be re-implemented again into this game, but I mean, like him humping it looks like he's humping it in the original. Like, I know it's the same scene. I know that. I get that. I'm not saying anything different. I'm saying that it just looks like he's fucking this thing, but Ito said he's not having sex with the top half and the bottom half of this creature on the ground, even though, I mean, James is kind of sexually repressed, but we're not going to get that far. Come on.
I know what you are.
So this is Laura at Brookhaven Hospital. The clear interest of that, probably not seeing nothing, because again, her guise of Silent Hill is that everything's normal, but for James and all the other characters facing torment, it is not normal at all. This is the scene where he goes for the key and Laura kicks his hand. This scene is actually like darkened and it's hard to see, and I'm surprised the lighting is not like that for the original Pyramid Head toss up scene that he's doing right now, where he's tossing that thing salad. She kicks it away, gives him a hard time.
Why I needed you.
I don't know what scene this is where he's coming from. All nonchalant. I would suppose maybe it is the entrance to seeing Mary strung up for the first time, you know? This is James in the closet where he's witnessing Pyramid Head do his thing.
But it's all over now.
And this is the Hangman puzzle where he grabs on the rope and you find the prisoner who did this, that, and the third in the bottom of the Toluca prison, where it's like a maze. I just played that part recently on the playthrough, but he looks, you know, a lot more somber, a lot more in your face symbolism with this one versus the original where he just pulls it down and that's it.
I don't need you anymore.
This is either supposed to convey some form of fighting, but it's not gameplay. So the first thing that came to my mind is why you kind of see that the nurses now, they have like these gardeners on, these stockings, and it was part of Ito's original art for them to wear those sexy leggings. And it makes sense because once again James is looking at nurses and it's manifesting in his mind like, oh, they look hot, man. I wish I could have that, but unfortunately my wife is on her deathbed. So, you know, James being cheeky and selfish and showing this envisioning of sexualization with the bobblehead nurse. And he's beating that nurse to death. This is the scene where James enters the elevator and then it closes. He tries to signal to Maria, hey, you know, come on, hurry up, open the door, open the elevator, but she gets stabbed and killed by Pyramid Head for the first time. Maria is the embodiment of basically all the carnal desires that James wants with Mary. She's a more seductive version of Mary that constantly gets killed to show James he needs to repent and learn his lesson after he killed his wife. And if you get the Maria ending, then he is doomed to repeat the consequences yet again.
You'd better do something about that cough.
I suppose this part where James is screaming is when the two Pyramid Heads kill Maria again, and he's like, no, I know what you are. I needed you to help me repent for my sins, for my evil ways, but that's all over now. I don't need you anymore. Let's finish this. That's when he realizes that he suffered enough and he fights the Pyramid Heads because he knows that at this point in time, Mary is dead. And there's no coming back, and he's guilty for it. Like, all of it culminates into one pretty fucked up bubble.
Stop! Leave her alone! Leave us both the hell alone! Ah!
I was weak. That's why I needed you. Needed someone to punish me for my sins. But that's all over now.
So this is him in anguish after, I suppose, Maria gets killed and he can't do anything about it for the third time in the game because she dies 3 times. She dies once when Pyramid Head stabs her on the elevator. She dies again with her head smashed in at the bottom of the prison, I think. And then she dies again at this part near the end of the game where the 2 Pyramid Heads skewer the living fuck out of her. So he's super guilty. Like, the facial details just convey, like, he's had enough. Like, this is all good stuff to me.
I'm ready.
He's accepting, he's ready, and the trailer ends with a subtle change. Now Maria's not on the pier anymore. She's in the big wedding booth that was uninhabited in the original for the most part, but I guess once again it ties into that straight symbolism of she would be here because she is the living dark embodiment of my wife, so why wouldn't she be here instead of randomly on the pier? But the same scene serves the same purpose. James is confused, and that is not his darling Mary, that is Maria.
Mary?
And then we have the Silent Hill 2 logo come up. I do think they model, I don't know if it was Cameron Diaz, maybe I'm right, or Christina Aguilera, but they modeled Mary's pink dress and, you know, subtle, you know, the red, the pink or whatever on one of the Kids Choice Awards. I forget what, but I know it's out there, but that's what they did. You barely see Maria here. She doesn't talk. But I assume, you know, same voice actress. Hopefully the Mary voice actress can do seduction. And I don't know where this scene takes place. I think maybe this is like after James gets knocked off the hospital roof and Pyramid Head just like strolls in here like a G. But it is raining and it looks like a rooftop, so I will buy it. And there it is, Silent Hill. You get a picture of Mary, and just imagine Maria with like longer, like slightly neck length, longer blonde hair with pink tips, and you would get how that character looks. It's going to be the same facial model, and they can have that consistency with Silent Hill 2. Overall, I am looking forward to it. I actually do want to play this game for myself and see what has been changed, what has been fixed, because honestly, I'm going to be real, I don't think that the Silent Hill 2 combat has aged well. It's just get the pipe and the game will immediately be fun, because now you can knock all of the creatures' dicks into the dirt. Man, what a huge announcement. I was not expecting any of this. I'm still cautiously optimistic because I want to know how they do it. And Konami apparently has multiple Silent Hill games in the works, so they are strong arming it up. They are preparing for the future with this one. Let's see. The last thing I want to say is I see people once again complaining about you know, graphics or whatever, but I think I said on Twitter, I don't think that Silent Hill 2 OG was the most graphically consistent. Even though I love the graphics and everything, you can clearly tell when it's in game, and you could clearly tell when it's a cutscene. And one benefit that this new remake will have is at least graphical consistency across the board at bare minimum, due to the fact that it's all going to be in engine. That's going to be one plus whether you like it or not. I like when things are just consistent. I really do. And I don't condone people attacking Ito and all this stuff, trying to tell the creator of the lore and monsters and mythos even what to do, and that you know better than him. Bro, he's been on the team for 20 years working on these games. Like, what do you know? At best, you're just one of those bad fans that like to go after each and every singular developer to make you feel happy, because misery loves company. And I'm just not one of those guys. I am glad that Silent Hill is back. I am glad that we have something to talk about. I am glad that even though love it or hate it, we have a game on the horizon, as opposed to making Silent Hill 2 or any Silent Hill trend on Twitter and having no game on the horizon. You know what I mean? It's very good to be a fan right now. And I just wish people would carry themselves better, as opposed to being straight fucking assholes to either Bloober or Ito for no reason. Let's see what they can do and wait and see from there. Like, what the fuck happened to just actually playing the game and that's it? I said it best earlier, I don't play art styles, I play video games, and I am not the same as the former. I am not. Alright, so this is Renegade Operative signing off. I really need a hard dose of water because I feel like I've been talking for an eternity. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and once again, you know what I mean, I know I've been talking like at about 400 miles per hour, but still, I had a lot of fun breaking this down and talking to you guys who can be nuanced and have those good discussion oriented moments without having to jump on Ito's neck for nothing. Like, people need to touch some grass. I know you won't touch some ass, you will never touch that, but touch some grass, man. You know, enjoy the discussion that you can finally partake in. And if you don't like the game, once again, I always encourage the same advice and philosophy. You aren't forced to buy anything. If you don't like it, don't buy it. If you like it, hey, I'm not gonna stop you from using your money the way you want to. I will be buying Silent Hill as well, you know what I mean? I will be playing it as well and analyzing it, because that just means more content for my channel. Until next time, I'm Renegade Operative. I'm signing out. I will see you guys soon. Take care. Peace out. Later.